Welcome to this video tutorial on how to install and configure Accent Server on 2019 Windows Server. So Accent Server is a popular email collaboration platform that allows users to send and receive email messages and also manage contacts, calendar, and tasks, and share resources such as Mailbox and public folders. So in this video, we will walk you through step-by-step process of installing and configuring Accent Server on Windows Server 2019. Right, so first of all, we have this domain controller ready. So if you haven't watched the how to install and configure domain controller, then there is a video. So we already configure our domain controller. So our domain controller name is itskillup.online, and this is our fresh Windows server where we are going to install our Accent server and also going to configure our Accent server. Okay, so before we begin, let's make sure that your server meets the system requirements. So you should have a 64-bit edition of the Windows Server 2019 and at least 120 GB of storage and at least 120 gig of RAM and 30 GB of free disk space. So additionally, you should have a fully qualified domain name and a valid SSL certificate for the domain. So once you have all of those requirements ready, and then you can proceed to install the necessary prerequisites. So this is our brand new Windows Server 2019. So this is just for the demonstration purpose. We don't have 128 gig of RAM, but we are doing on lab. So if it is 4 GB or 6 GB or even 8 GB, it will be good for the installation and for the lab purposes. For the production purposes, at least 128 GB is recommended. Okay, so the computer name is, this is our computer name, and domain is idskillup.online, which is our domain, and this is our IP for this server, which is 192.168.78.11. So on the what is this configure? Okay, so on the description box, you will see a link for the prerequisites installation process. So this is the GitHub page where you can see the Accent server installation and configuration. So here you can see the documentation, how to install Accent server and the prerequisites. So if you follow this documentation, and there is an PowerShell command which we have to run first. So let's go ahead and make sure our server is up to date, and let's check for updates if there is any. And if there is any updates, make sure you will first make your system up to date and then only proceed. Okay, so let's go ahead and PowerShell and run as an administrator. And copy this PowerShell command and just Control V and hit enter. So it will install bunch of the prerequisites for the Accent Server 2019. So we have to wait until this command is done. All right, so our command is done. Now, if you go on the documentation, there is 6 steps. So this is step 1. Run the PowerShell as an administrator, run the following command. Now the second step is installing .NET Framework 4.8. So I'm going to open this one and go ahead and download this .NET Framework. So just recommended is this one. So I already download the .NET Framework 4.8. If I go on my download, I guess this is the .NET framework. Let's see, this is the one or not. Okay, .NET framework 4.8. I'm going to install this one. Open. So if you go on documentation, it says a restart is required for this installation to be complete, right? So make sure you will restart your server once this installation is done. Go ahead and install it. Right, our .NET framework is completed. So I'm going to click on finish. So it is asking me for the restarting the server. Before doing that, I'm going to change my computer name too. So just for the, I'm going to write the computer name is an MS1 mail server. It will make easy for the installation and configuration. So I'm going to hit OK. Right, hit OK, close. So we are going to restart this server. All right, so we just restart our server. Now I'm going to log back in. So if you go back to the GitHub page, let's go on history and go on to the our GitHub page where there is an installation process. Okay, this is the one, right? So we completed step 1 and 2. Now we are going to install Visual C++ 2012 and 2013. So I already downloaded. So it's further download, just right click and open a new tab and it will open the download page. So you just hit download and then you will get the installation file. So I have already on the download. I already download that file. So that will be this one. I'm going to install it. Click on install. All right, setup is successful. Now we are going to install the 13. Again, the both 12 and 13 are on this page. Okay, so 13 is also done. Now next we complete step 3. Now go on step 4, installing, sorry, we also completed step 4. Now we are going on step 5, that is install IIS URL rewrite module. So just right click and open the link and then you will see the installation file right here. Download the 64 version file. Right, so I already download that file. So that will be okay. So that's gonna be our step 5 is IIS URL. MSI rewrite. Yes, so this is the one. Okay, rewrite, install it. accept the terms and condition and install. All right, so we just completed that too. Now let's move on step 6, Unified Communication Managed API 4.0. So right click and download from here. All right, so I already downloaded that one too. All right, so this is Unified 4.0. Click on next. I accept, and you don't have to send information, just click on install. Now it will take some time to finish this installation process. All right, so the installation process is completed. Now we are going to restart our server one more time. Server, restart, continue. All right, so I just restarted the server. Now I'm going to log back in. Okay, so next, just wait for this server manager to completely load. Okay, I'll go on browser. I'm going to ping to taskbar. It makes easier. Okay, so if you go on google.com and search for Microsoft Accent Server 2019 cumulative update 12, and also specify download. Now open this Microsoft page where you can download the Microsoft Accent file, so which is cumulative update 12. Just download this file and then we will go from there. Okay, so I already downloaded that file. Now I'm going, this is the file. Now I'm going to mount it. Before mounting this file, I'm going to make sure I have disk ready for the installation process. Go on computer management. If you have more than one drive, and you can install wherever you want it. So go on disk management. So we have E and C, and we also have the disk 1 and okay, we have disk 1. So that means if you go on this PC, now we have volume E, which we will be using for the installation. All right, so I'm going to go on that file one more time and right click and mount and open. Okay, so this is the file. Now I'm going to run setup, run as an administrator. Okay, just wait for a little bit. All right, I think it didn't work. Okay. No, it's working. Here we go. All right, so this is the Microsoft Exchange Server 2019 cumulative update 12. Now I'm going to connect to the internet and check for updates. Make sure your server is also up to date. So there is no update found. Click on next. So if there is any file that needs to be copied, then the setup will copy the file that are required for the Exchange server. All right, so installizing setup is almost done. Now it is uh, setup is preparing the necessary resources before it can continue to the next steps. It will take some time to finish this installizing setup. Right now we are on introduction page where it is the information about the Exchange server. It says welcome to the Microsoft Exchange server. Exchange server is designed to help you increase user productivity, keep your data safe, and provide you with the control you need. So all of those good stuff is right there on the introduction page. If you want to read all of those introduction, you can also click on this link and then read about the Exchange server and deployment process. So I'm going to click on next. Now this is the license agreement. I'm going to accept the license agreement. And I'm not going to share the diagnostics data with Microsoft. Now I'm going to use the recommended settings. Click on next. Now we are going to install Mailbox and automatically install server role and features that are required to the install Exchange server. Click on next. Now this is the path. If you want to install on different drive, then you can do that too, but make sure you have the exact location. If it is D drive, make sure you have program files, Microsoft Exchange Server v15 on the drive too. So that will make easy for the configuration process. Okay, so I will install on C drive. Click on next. Now our organization name, which is ID scale up. Now I'm going to click on next. Just specify the name of the Exchange organization. Click on next. Now I don't want to disable malware settings, so I'll choose no and click on next. Now it will check for the prerequisite. So it will verify if the prerequisite is needed or not. So if there is any prerequisite, it will tell you to install those prerequisites first before installation of the Exchange server. So we don't have any prerequisites. It says warning and we are good to go. So if you only see this warning, then it is ready for the installation. So if there is any error, just follow the link right here. Let's say there is an error here, and then it will tell you to go to that link, and then just click on link right this, and then just open it. Okay, so we don't have any, so we don't need to do that. If you follow those 6 steps, you don't have to do anything. Just your prerequisite will be ready for the installation. So I will click on install. Remember, the step is 1 to 14 for the installation, so it will take 30 to 1 hour to install this Exchange server. So take a cup of tea or the coffee and then wait for the installation to be completed. Okay, so we just wait for 1 hour to complete this installation process now is finally done. So now you can see our setup is completed. Okay, if you want to launch your administrator Exchange Administrator Center, you can click on this one right here and then launch it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click on finish. All right, so now we have successfully configured our Exchange server. So now if you go on our domain controller, so this is my domain controller, I'm going to open it. Now if you go on users and computer, go on tools, Active Directory users and computers. Okay, let's go in action and refresh. Now, as you can see here, you can see that Microsoft Exchange Security Groups is here. So that means we are successfully install our Exchange server. So if you don't see anything on here, so that means something is wrong. Okay, so now let's go back to our Exchange server. So this is our Exchange server. So if you go on the browser, now go on incognito mode, go on private windows. Now if you type https and our Exchange server name, okay, so that is okay, it's not working. Okay, ms1. So for the name of the server, you can go on server manager and local server. So this is ms1. Okay, so ms1 dot and then your domain name. So my domain name is itscaleup.online and do /ecp. Let's wait for a bit to this link to be loaded. All right, so as you can see here, our Exchange server admin center is finally open. Now go ahead and provide your domain, which is itscaleup, and username is, for me, now I'm going to use administrator, and password for administrator. Sign in. All right, so we sign in. So in here, you have to choose your preferred display language and time zone. So for me, English is good, and time zone will be, let's say, Baja California. Let's save. All right, so this is the Exchange Admin Center where you can do lots of configuration, where you can create user mailbox, create database. You can do many configuration on the Exchange server. So this is the admin center main console for the Exchange server. Okay, so we are just waiting for the mailbox to be loaded. Then we are going to create some of the users. So to create a users for the Exchange server, just go ahead and click on the plus icon here and user mailbox. Okay, so if you want to create a new user, you can go ahead and click on new user and fill out all of the details of the users. For me, I'm going to use the existing users, I'm gonna browse it because I have the users on Active Directory. So as you can see here, I have these users on IT admins, ID supports, and marketing. There are some users. So we can create a user mailbox for those users. And also I'm going to create some new users. Okay, let's say I'm going to create a mailbox for John Singer and click on OK. And if you have more than one database, you can choose your database right here. For me, there is only one, so I'm not going to select that database. For you, if you create more than one database, then you can just select the preferred database. So I'm going to save. Now let's send some emails if it is working or not, right? So I'm going to open another browser and type https in our server name dot my domain name and OWA. This is for Outlook. So I'm just going to, okay, so it is working. All right, so we can open our Outlook too, where we can send emails, do meetings, all of those things on the Outlook. So I'm going to send an email to these users, John Singer. Okay, so let's go ahead and create new, and our John Singer. If you do John and go and search directory, it will search for the specific keyword. So right here we have the John Singer, and then I'm going to add a subject here, test for email. We successfully okay, this is slow. Okay, we successfully deploy our Accent server. Please, sorry. Please reply to this email. Okay. Let's say this is the email we want to send as for the John Singer. So I'm going to send this email. Okay, now it's on draft. Okay, for some reason it's on draft. Okay, so now it's gone from draft. So all right, so I'm going to log in on this user PC here. So this is the Windows 10. I'm going to log in on this user account. All right, let's go ahead and open the Outlook from internet. So again, https our server name dot our domain name and OWA for the Outlook. So advanced, so we don't have a SSL certificate, but we are going to create a SSL certificate certificate for the accents on next videos. For now, I'm going to continue. So our domain name is IT Kilop, and our user is John dot Singer, and then password. All right, so I'm going to select his time zone is in Alaska and then save. So this is Outlook on the web. So as you can see here, we are successfully getting an email from administrator. Hi, we successfully deploy our Accent server. Please reply to this email. And then I'm going to reply back to the administrator. Hi, thank you I got the email. Okay, now I'm going to send this email to the administrator. All right, so now let's go back to our Accent server here. As you can see here on the inbox, we have the email address. So this is how we can install and configure our Accent server. Okay, so if you go on this GitHub directory, let's open the GitHub repo once again. Okay, so this is the one. All right, so if you go on profile and if you go on the Microsoft Accent Server 2019, you can do all of these configuration on your Accent server. So I will definitely recommend you to go ahead on this documentation and follow along with the different configuration where you can find how to create a user mailbox, how to rename and move mailbox database, how to create a new mailbox in database, all of the in detail. So there is also the PowerShell command, so that makes easy to deploy those configuration. So all of these thing will you can find on the this GitHub repo. I will post on the description box as well. So yeah, this is how you can install and configure Accent server in Windows Server 2019. Thank you.